Okay, let's just jump right in. If you're into open source automation and AI agents, you've almost certainly run into OpenClaw. But what if there's a better way to think about these tools? Today, we're not just going to list some alternatives. Nope. We're going to explore 6 completely different design philosophies and how they can totally shape your next big project.
Look, don't get me wrong, OpenClaw is great. It really is. It's light, it's super customizable, and it's built on a really solid expandable architecture. But here's the real question, the one we all have to ask. What happens when your project demands something different, right? Maybe you need Fort Knox level security, or it has to run on a potato, or maybe it's all about teamwork. The truth is, a single tool just can't be the master of everything.
So let's reframe this whole conversation. We're not just comparing features on a checklist. We are looking at 6 distinct champions, you could say. Each one is built around a core philosophy. Each one is designed for a very specific mission. This is all about matching your project's DNA with the right architectural mindset. First up to the plate is Nanobot. This is the champion of simplicity and transparency. Its entire reason for being is to be understandable. I mean, its code base is incredibly small. We're talking only about 3,800 lines. But that's not a weakness. Trust me, it's its greatest strength.
Because the architecture is so crystal clear, you can actually get your hands dirty and understand every single line of code. This makes it absolutely perfect for solo developers, for learning, or, and this is the big one, if your goal is to take a solid foundation and just completely reshape it into something brand new. It's not the most powerful out of the box, but it is by far the most moldable.
All right, now let's explore a completely different idea. Meet NanoClaw, our champion of isolation. Its core philosophy is that true security, especially in a multi-user environment, comes from strict, unyielding separation. Every single user gets their own isolated container-like session with its own separate memory.
And this is so crucial because it prevents what we call context leaks, where data from one person's session could accidentally bleed into another's. Nightmare scenario, right? This makes it a perfect fit for SaaS platforms or customer support tools that are juggling multiple accounts. It's not just a tool. It's really a framework for thinking about how to build secure, scalable, multi-user systems from the ground up.
Now, if NanoClaw is about isolation, IronClaw takes security to a whole new level. Its philosophy is simple, and it is uncompromising. Security before all else. It's designed with a security-first mindset, which means every single layer of its architecture assumes there's a potential threat lurking.
It pulls this off with features like super strict input sanitization and precise role-based access control, or RBAC for short, which basically means you can define exactly who can see what and who can do what. So here's the bottom line. If you're building tools for a big enterprise or handling incredibly sensitive data, this is your champion. It might not be the fastest in a race, but it is absolutely the most disciplined and secure.
Okay, let's switch gears completely. What if your main worry isn't security, but resources? Well, meet ZeroClaw, the champion of efficiency. This tool was literally built from the ground up to boot up instantly and sip the absolute minimum amount of memory and CPU possible. How does it do it? By aggressively limiting any external dependencies and using clever tricks like lazy loading. So why does this matter so much? Well, in environments like low-cost servers, tiny containers, or edge computing, every single megabyte counts. ZeroClaw is designed for those scenarios where you need to run maybe thousands of instances without your resource bill exploding. Now, building on that idea of efficiency, we have PicoClaw, the champion of accessibility. Its mission is to run absolutely anywhere, even on old, low-spec hardware like a Raspberry Pi or maybe an older smartphone you have lying around. And the core value here is something really cool. It's called technical democracy. PicoClaw proves that powerful AI tools don't have to be exclusive to people with modern, high-end devices. This makes it perfect for things like educational tools in areas with weak infrastructure or for developers in emerging markets. It's a really powerful statement. And finally, we have our last champion, TinyClaw, which is all about collaboration. Unlike pretty much all the other tools that focus on individual or isolated users, TinyClaw is designed for multiple people to work together in the exact same environment at the exact same time. Yeah, think of it more like a shared operating room rather than a private personal assistant. It uses shared memory and gives everyone real-time updates, making it the ideal choice for development teams doing pair programming, for educational labs, or for those intense, technical brainstorming sessions where everyone absolutely needs to be on the same page. Okay, so we've met our 6 champions. 6 different tools, 6 very different philosophies. That's a lot to take in, I know. So the big question is, how do you actually pick the right one for your project? Let's break it down into a really simple framework. Think of this as your character select screen in a video game, where all 6 champions are laid out side by side. You've got Nanobot for simplicity, NanoClaw for isolation, IronClaw for security, ZeroClaw for efficiency, PicoClaw for accessibility, and of course TinyClaw for collaboration. It's just a quick way to see at a glance how their core philosophies line up with specific use cases.
And to make it even easier, here's a simple decision funnel. Just ask yourself these questions. 1. Is your data highly sensitive? Go with IronClaw. 2. Do you have many isolated users? NanoClaw is your best bet. 3. Are your hardware resources extremely limited? Look at PicoClaw or ZeroClaw. 4. Need a shared collaborative space? That's TinyClaw. And 5. If you just want a simple, clean foundation to build whatever you want on, Nanobot is your starting point. Simple as that.
But here's the most exciting part, the big idea behind all of this. The real goal isn't just to pick a tool off the shelf. The true power of open source is the ability to move beyond being just a user and become a shaper of the tool itself, to become an architect.
So the crucial takeaway is this. You're not just choosing a piece of software, you're choosing a design philosophy, a way of thinking about memory, security, and resources. And once you truly understand that philosophy, you can begin to shape it yourself. And today, that process is faster and easier than ever before. You can fork any of these repositories and then use an AI coding assistant like Cursor or Claude to help you modify the architecture. You can ask it to refactor the code, add new features, or even write documentation for you. You are no longer just using a tool, you are actively architecting it to fit your exact needs.
So as we wrap this up, I want to leave you with this one question. Forget about brand names and feature lists for just a moment. Think about the core principles: simplicity, security, efficiency, collaboration. What is the fundamental philosophy that your next project will be built on? Choose that first, and believe me, the right tool will follow.